built out of structural steel components
was that we needed to be good neighbors.
We're looking at what the future growth of Bastrop would be.
And a corrosive environment has a limited lifespan. My name is Bob Lane with KSA. I'm the project manager for the City of Bastrop Wastewater Treatment Plant. It's a real pleasure to be here today to talk about the plant and its operation and some of the design criteria that we use to develop the project.
Hi, I'm Linda Humble, City Manager for the City of Bastrop. There are really two reasons why we're building a new wastewater treatment plant. The first one's very simple. Our existing plant is antiquated and just about beyond its useful life. The second reason is it's important that we plan not only for today, but for tomorrow. Everybody enjoys a wastewater treatment plant, whether they even recognize it or not, because as citizens, we expect our toilets to flush today, tomorrow, next year, a decade from now, or many years from now. And our planning for this wastewater treatment plant will ensure that our regional wastewater treatment needs are taken care of, and we've done it in a very fiscally sustainable way.
The Texas Commission of Environmental Quality provides design guidance for communities to assist them in planning to satisfy their goals and their needs going forward into the future.
So when you reach 75% of your capacity, you have to go into design. And when you reach 95% of your capacity, you have to be under construction. And we're currently working under that schedule.
The city's existing 1.4 million gallon per day rated wastewater treatment plant will soon reach its maximum limit and will no longer be able to accept additional flows from new citizens moving into the community. That's where KSA comes in. KSA is going to be providing the community with a new 2 MGD rated wastewater treatment plant to help the city achieve their goals and growing into the future.
There's been a lot of important planning, strategic planning, that's gone into the construction and design of this wastewater treatment plant. We're building it not only for the needs today, but it has been designed so as the capacity needs to be expanded, that it literally can be built upon not only twice, 3 times, but 4 total expansions. And our goal in the design of this project is very simple. We want whoever is in charge 40 years from now to look back and say, wow, they got it right.
So the reason we have to build a new plant is 1, we're at capacity. 2, the old plant is over 40 years old and needs to be decommissioned. The reason we've selected the current location is because of the growth. And we know that it's coming, but with the shape the old plant is currently in, we need a new plant just to make sure we can flush the toilets and keep that kind of stuff happening.
One of the policy decisions that Council made relative to this regional wastewater treatment plant was that we needed to be good neighbors. And good neighbors to us is 2 things. 1, the visual aspects of living near the wastewater treatment plant.
The leadership in the City of Bastrop asked KSA to help them create and design an aesthetically pleasing wastewater treatment plant. The city staff was really concerned about what is this plant going to look like from the neighborhoods outside of the plant. So KSA worked with the staff and we developed a tree buffer, a landscaping buffer around the wastewater treatment plant. We developed a landscaping fence around the plant as well. This is going to be utilizing a rancher style combination of wooden and stone columns. And in addition to that, we're also providing an administration building that's utilizing the construction materials that closely resemble or match up with the construction materials elsewhere in other neighborhoods in the area. Basically what we wanted to help the city provide is a wastewater treatment plant that's basically aesthetically pleasing from the residential neighborhood's perspective. And
the intent is as you're riding down the road or perhaps living across the street one day from this plant, that we look like literally grandma's old farmhouse. And all of the mechanics of treating wastewater will be behind a screen of trees. that would be similar to grandmother living out in the woods. And hopefully the residential neighborhoods that build up over the next decades around this plant will just see that as the farmhouse that's always been there.
We understand that the wastewater treatment plants in the marketplace generate odors, and the City of Bastrop leadership recognize this as well. The leadership has asked KSA to look at how we can manage this odor.
The second aspect of being a good neighbor is smell. And KSA has done a great job of ensuring that all of the technological advances that are available to us today to mitigate smell have been built into this plant.
KSA has looked at the odor emissions from their existing wastewater treatment plant and other wastewater treatment plants in the marketplace that are going to be utilizing the treatment technologies that we are going to incorporate in this plant.
My name is Greg Darcy, and I'm an engineer with KSA, and I'm here today to talk about the hydrogen sulfide collection and measurement study that I performed in support of the odor control design. So our methodology for conducting the study was to find an installation that was similar to the installation that we plan to design for plant number 3, and that was plant number 2, which is for the City of Bastrop. And we took that as being most alike the plant that we're designing. And so we took an H2S instrument to that plant and we measured the H2S being emitted by several of the unit processes at that plant that will also be present at plant number 3. Also, to get additional data, went to the City of Pflugerville and measured H2S coming off of their aeration basins because their aeration basins are very similar to the ones that we intend to install at plant number 3. So the results that we found were that at the influent pump station we had a composite H2S concentration of 16 parts per million of hydrogen sulfide, where a part per million refers to 1 pound of hydrogen sulfide per 1 million pounds of air. And then subsequently at the screenings box we found a concentration of roughly 8 parts per million, and then at the aerobic digester we found 6 parts per million. The remaining processes had essentially 0 parts per million of H2S concentration measured by us. And this corresponds to what we observed in the field, which was that I was able to smell odors coming away from the influent pump station and the screenings box and the digester, but I smelled no aggressive odor coming from the aeration basin, the clarifier, or chlorine contact chamber. So the numeric results corresponded to field observations and indicated to us that the odors coming off of the aerobic aeration basin, clarifier, and chlorine contact basin were close to negligible or negligible.
And in evaluating this data, KSA is recommending covers over major unit processes that generate odors in the plant itself. And when we cover these unit processes, we are then going to pull a vacuum out from all these structures and run that air through an odor control scrubber. Odor control scrubbers use media to filter out and reduce the hydrogen sulfide emissions.
It's important to know that wastewater treatment plants do smell from time to time, but based on the technology that's available for us today to mitigate that smell, we've incorporated all of those design features so that we can meet the council's charge to be that good neighbor.
Chris Saylor, I'm the Senior Project Manager, overseeing the collection system for the Bastrop project, taking the wastewater, collecting it throughout the city and sending it to the wastewater plant.
I'm Jeremy Orr with KSA. I'm a project manager. I've been working for KSA for 8 years. We're working on the collection system portion of this project.
So part of this project is also some west side collection lines, which is some rather large pipe.
And it has to do with pipe longevity and pipe capacity. And when you're laying out gravity sewer lines, especially trunk lines that convey all wastewater to a centralized treatment unit, you have to consider not only current but future conditions.
You need to put in the proper infrastructure. Currently the city has a lot of old infrastructure that needs to be replaced. This plant will be part of that, but the collection system will also be part of the whole project. And it allows us to, again, cost share with other members so that it doesn't all lay on the backs of the current customers?
When we first started working on this project, the city wanted to consider laying out the collection lines in a way that would not prevent expansion in the future. They wanted to be laid out in such a way that facilitate development in this area that's experiencing a lot of growth. We considered what we needed to do in order to extend the lines as far north as possible.
And a lot of times, especially when we're dealing with long-term and high-growth areas like Bastrop, we have to think to the future quite a bit. And laying a sewer line that has a very short-sighted future can be problematic, as you may run out of capacity soon. So what we're trying to do is we're trying to find that right balance of pipe diameter and pipe material that will allow the best use of funds while giving the longest practical life for the budget dollars. And this.
In March of 2018, we had a work session with council to discuss the long-term needs of water and wastewater for the city of Bastrop. During that conversation, council issued a really important policy directive, and that was that we needed to evaluate the design, cost, and construction of our wastewater plant based on the life cycle of the asset. And by doing so, we had to factor in not only the cost of construction, but what would it cost to operate and maintain that system over its useful life. And we've done that. So we feel really good that we're doing the right things right in the construction of this wastewater treatment plant. Yes, it cost a little more up front to get it right, but it pays off great dividends over the life cycle of the asset and how we operate and maintain that facility. Because we appreciate that our ratepayers, our customers, are going to pay for that not only in the construction phase, but in the operation and maintenance phase over its life cycle. So we've taken a very holistic approach in how this facility is being designed, constructed, and maintained.
Thank you for watching our presentation today. KSA is truly honored to be here. This is a critical project for both human and environmental health, and KSA is going to be very proud to continue working in your community for many years to come. Thank you.